Struggling with alcohol markers? You are not alone, and this video is here to help. I'll show you two totally different ways to use your artist alcohol markers. First, to add layered detailed color on die cuts, and then with a looser, more relaxed coloring style. We'll also combine two gorgeous Altenew products to create one fabulous card. This video is part of the Altenew Educators Video Hub, where you will find tons of inspiration waiting for you. Plus, there's a fun giveaway happening. Make sure to check out all the details in the description and hop along with us for an enjoyable journey. I will use the Craft Your Life project kit Magnificent Magnolias. Isn't this just gorgeous? I've already cut the Magnolias out of rouge cardstock. This looks different on screen, so I'll pop a photo here from the website. Starting with colored cardstock helps reduce blending time and requires less pigment. However, test the markers you intend to use on a scrap piece of the same colored cardstock before coloring the die cuts. Allow the swatch to sit for a couple of minutes before finalizing your color choices. Here I applied colors from the Red Sunset set and the reds from the Island Garden set. I will start by showing you what the resulting petal will look like before we begin. Can you see how gorgeous this looks? The streaking is added using the tip-to-tip or kissing method. It appears to have a lot of detail, but in reality, it doesn't. Just a few extra darker strokes create the illusion of detail. It doesn't require a lot of time. And does it look like the skin of an apple to you? It does, doesn't it? Now assemble all your die cut layers using the keyhole system to see how much color will be visible when all layers are combined. This way you will know how much dark color to extend onto the bottom layers. Using Heartbeat Artist Alcohol Marker, apply pigment to the base of the petal. Then reduce the hand pressure and add feather-light strokes. When the pressure is extremely light, as I mentioned, feather-like, barely touching the cardstock, the strokes or flicks you add will naturally be thin. Now, while you don't have to add thin strokes necessarily, this technique will create the illusion of details. Now, add the strokes or flicks with feather-like pressure to the tips of the petals. Remember not to extend these flicks too much, or if you do choose to extend them, just extend a few of them to the middle of the petal for interest and variation. You can practice these feather-like strokes on a spare paper. You will get the hang of this in no time. Then you will be able to draw thicker and thinner strokes as you will know how much pressure to apply. Next, take the Coral Bliss Artist Alcohol Marker and repeat the same process, starting to add flicks with feather-like pressure to the base of the petals, slightly overlapping the previous color. Extend these flicks further into the middle of the petals. Next, using the Pink Pearl Artist Alcohol Marker, try blending a bit of color in the areas that seem off to you. Remember not to overblend. Simply go over the area once or at most twice and then move on. Let it dry. You can always come back to it later and work on it more if needed. And if nothing seems off to you, that's fine too. You can just add strokes of Pink Pearl marker as well. Now at this point, you will have very little of the area showing, and if there is, bring the Blush Artist Alcohol Marker from the Red Sunset Artist Alcohol Marker set to soften some areas. And don't overdo this. The lightest markers have the highest concentration of alcohol, and they will remove the details you added right away. Now we will add the darkest color. I wanted to do this at the end, so I knew exactly how much we needed. Using the Vineyard Berry Artist Alcohol Marker, add color to the base. Then using the same feather-like pressure and tip-to-tip method, apply Vineyard Berry pigment from the Pink Pearl Artist Alcohol Marker and start adding strokes or flakes. The kissing technique or tip-to-tip allows us to create a custom color and an ombre look, enabling a softer transition when adding flicks. Now you can use the Vineyard Berry Artist Alcohol Marker directly, but since this is the darkest one, and if you are not proficient in adding these feather-like strokes, you may get really stark, bold lines. So it's best that you practice first and then use the dark marker directly. My suggestion would be to use the tip-to-tip method and use the lighter marker to apply the darker pigment. I'll color all the petal layers the same way, and next we'll move on to the flower center, which I also cut out of the rouge cardstock. Using the Mountain Pine Artist Alcohol Marker from the same Island Garden set, go over the topmost layer of the center pieces, and to make this darker, add dots. Using the Vineyard Berry Artist Alcohol Marker, you do not have to do this. You can just use the Mountain Pine marker or bring in a jet black marker, any other darker marker. I just wanted to stick to the Island Garden set and the Red Sunset where I used the blush from. I won't worry too much about adding all the layers to the center pieces. I'm not even adding all the itty bitty bits of the flowers. You can use the Coral Bliss or the Pink Pearl color, a single color, and adhere those pieces to the flower if you want to. I'm skipping this step. Once done, I will adhere all the layers together using liquid adhesive, following the keyhole system and layering guide on the packaging. It is super easy to put together, and I only colored 3 flowers. Next, using the floral stamp from the Build a Garden Tranquil Trail, I will position the stamp on Classic Crest Solar White cardstock. This panel is the size of my card front. I'll stamp this using Obsidian Pigment ink. You can use your heat tool to set the ink or cover with clear embossing powder and heat set it. If you find that easier, I will use Artist Marker directly to color the image. We will use the green markers to color the leaves, starting with the darkest, Mountain Pine. Since the green bits are too small and tight, you can use the bullet tip to color. I will also switch between both the bullet and the brush tips. I will apply Mountain Pine to all the areas that I want to show darker. Next, I will bring in grass fields and add it slightly overlapping the Mountain Pine pigment. I wouldn't worry too much about blending this since this is such a thin area. After this, I will bring in Minty Mint and repeat the same, extending the colored area to show the transition from dark to light. In the end, finish it off with Sweet Leaf marker, blending everything nicely. Now is where you absolutely do not need to worry about coloring. You can go out of the lines. Next up are the flowers. We will use the blue markers from the Island Garden set, starting with Azurite. Apply this to the center and slightly pull it outwards. Don't overthink this. Just add a blob and some squiggles. Next, using Ultramarine, overlap slightly over Azurite. Don't worry about blending. Think of layering stamps or stencils, but this will be faster and requires no cleaning. Make sure to leave room for 2 more marker colors on your flowers. Next up, use the Eastern Sky marker and start over the previous colors and then on the white areas. Don't worry about going out of the lines. Lastly, use Iceberg and add more color. Again, don't worry about covering the entire flower area. If some white parts show, that's okay too. Next, arrange flowers on the panel and use carbon black gouache to add fine splatters to it. I decided to add the 3rd flower later. I left this be for a while and then decided to add a bit of inking to the background, just to ground the flowers. I used Eastern Sky Fresh Dye ink and a small blending tool to blend some ink. I know I have black splatters on my panel, but thankfully these are gouache splatters and they don't smear when I ink over them. At least this is what I have noticed. Next, I decided to doodle some red dots to balance the red flowers. You can add enamel dots. At this point, I should have just taken my own advice and not overthought, but this was a weird night. I used heartbeat marker to create the dots and then went in with the pink pearl to add a light dot in the middle to give it some dimension. Clearly overthinking and overdoing here. I did not stop there. I used a fine liner pen and added an outline to these dots so they would match my outline stamp. And that's it. I stamped a sentiment and adhered the die cut flowers with instant dimension foam tape. I hope you guys try to pair your floral stamps with your die cuts and use this loose alcohol marker color technique with a seemingly detailed one. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed learning these two marker techniques, give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more crafty inspiration. Make sure to check out the full Altenew Educator video hub. There's so much talent and inspiration to explore. And don't forget to enter the giveaway while you're at it. Until next time, happy crafting and keep coloring outside the lines. Bye-bye.
Hello there, did that video just spark your creativity? And do you want more project ideas and inspiration videos too? Well, if you do, please make sure that you subscribe to the Altenew YouTube channel. Also, make sure that you do click that notification bell so you don't miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.